What's up guys, today I explain you Jujutsu Kaisen, how Gege dropped the ball on Gojo's. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe this channel. Now have fun with the video.
Gojo Satoru fought many exciting battles in Jujutsu Kaisen, but none was as heavily anticipated as his clash with Ryomen Sukuna, the King of Curses. Gojo was a phenomenal fighter, which was quite easy for the fans to see. He was crowned as the strongest modern sorcerer, and his own confidence in his abilities was sublime. Gojo knew that he and Sukuna would come face to face at some point, and that when they did, he'd win the clash, finally. After being freed from the prison realm, Gojo was then set for his battle with Sukuna, and this clash happened after a short time skip in the manga. Once the Shinjuku Showdown arc of Gege began, fans knew that the story would be absolutely magnificent as the two Midas sorcerers started battling each other. Gojo versus Sukuna saw these to throw their best at each other, hoping to win the clash of the strongest. It is safe to say that this fight was, for the large part, even. There were moments when Gojo had the upper hand, and some others when Sukuna had the upper hand clearly. But it is safe to say that Gojo was incredibly impressive in this fight. This was especially because Sukuna wasn't just fighting Sukuna, but a Sukuna who also had access to Megumi's technique. Megumi's technique by itself is said to be strong enough to rival Gojo's Limitless, as has been confirmed in the story already. On top of that, Sukuna had his own shrine as well, and this made this job doubly difficult for Gojo. Despite that, Gojo was able to sustain the pressure and maintain his upper hand in the battle for large parts. In the end, however, it was Megumi's Maharaga that ended up making the difference, as it gave Sukuna the blueprint to bypass Gojo's infinity and cut him down in one fell swoop. With that, Gojo Satoru officially met his end, something that no fan of the series had imagined would happen in such a cruel way. While Gojo's defeat was understandable, the manner of it was quite shocking. Gojo was beaten for plot reasons, as he had more than enough in store to beat Sukuna. Unfortunately, Gege had to move the story forward, which meant that Gojo had to lose this battle. That is precisely what ended up happening in Shinjuku. Gojo's battle against Sukuna was hugely damaging for his character, but it needn't be. Had Gojo versus Sukuna happened around when Gojo fulfilled his dreams and objectives, fans wouldn't have minded his death as much. But Gojo never got to fulfill any of his dreams. Gojo wanted to reset the Jujutsu world, something that he never got to do, or witness himself. Gojo certainly set the foundation for it to happen, but it was largely taken care of by his students, and even then, it was an extremely rushed plot point that Gege hardly put any focus on. More than that, Gojo also wanted to give Shiguru a funeral after burying his body. Once again, this was something that the story never let him do. Gojo wanted to mourn his best friend and give him a proper send-off into the afterlife. But, because the story needed him to be killed off in such a rushed and premature manner, fans never truly got to see it happen. Even the battle against Sukuna itself felt bizarre to the fans, especially knowing that the King of Curses had a ton of help in the fight, and that Gojo was far more impressive overall. Both in terms of giving Gojo a satisfying ending that fans would accept, and having him fulfill all of his goals. Jijaku Tami dropped the ball of Gojo's character, but that certainly isn't all. The most shocking part about how Gojo was handled was that nobody truly acknowledged his death. Characters like Tsumiki, who hardly made a difference in JJK and was simply a plot device, got their own funeral, but an icon of massive importance, such as Gojo Satoru, didn't even have his death acknowledged by the author. None other than Yuta seemed to care for him, and as soon as the war ended, everyone simply moved on. This was undeniably a tragic decision made by the author. They further made the handling of Gojo's character worse. Whatever fans' feelings about Gojo's death may be, he's gone now, and Jujutsu Kaisen seems to have ended as well. What was left of Gojo is his legacy, and that's being carried by none other than Yuji Itadori and Yuta Okatsu. Before dying, Gojo clearly told Yuji that he should develop a different kind of strength than his, and, at the same time, grow strong. He also seemed extremely confident in the fact that Yuji wouldn't disappoint him, and that even if he died, he'd grow to become the strongest. Most importantly, Gojo knew that Yuji had inherited his dream of resetting the world, and that he would see it to the end. Meanwhile, Yuta ended up becoming the acting leader of the Gojo clan later down the line, and held this position for a long time. These two carried Gojo's will, and in a shambolic display at the end, fans at least gained some nice memories of Gojo through these characters. If Jujutsu Kaisen ever continues, fans can only hope that Gojo's impact on the continuation itself, along with the characters that are present in it, is meaningful.